Um, Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am doing a tutorial today on how to make these lovely paradise flower inspired themed press-on nails that I made. Now, yes, these are the really long ghetto fabulous nails that I like to make. Um, I'm gonna start making other sets starting next week where they're a little shorter, but I like the longer ones. So before I start this tutorial, I just kind of wanted to say that when it comes to the two fingers, the ring finger and the pointer finger, they're the same nail, so I only showed painting the nail once in the video. So the tutorial only shows 4 nails, and but it's technically 5 because those two repeat each other, and in the end you'll see the full set. So I'm going to hit play. Alright, so here we have the isopropyl alcohol, if I'm saying that right. So first you're kind of like, you're taking, before you do this, you take a file and you buff the nails and then you wipe it down with this alcohol. It is so that the base coat sticks to it and the paint sticks to it better. And now here I kind of see, I go straight for the gel nail polish. I forgot to put the base coat on. Um, so the first thing I do when it comes to these nail sets is that I try to look at the base color of all the nails, so that you kind of have to do the back to the front. And like I say in all my videos, you work from the back of the nail to the front of the nail to what you see. So you have to kind of think backwards. So when I'm doing the nails, I kind of, that's what's in my mind the whole time. Um, so also another thing, when I'm doing these nails, I'm actually doing like all the nails at once to save time. And when I'm editing this video, I I cut up the video and I put it in order for each fingernail. So that way that you can see how that one fingernail is done in order, if that makes sense. You know, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will try to answer as fast as I can. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the best at checking the comments. Um, but yes, so the base color of this is kind of like an olive green, and if I see correctly, I have this color chart here. Oop. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. It's a color chart that I made up, and it is called an analogous themed nail with a color wheel. So here, on the last finger, this is probably one of the ones that doesn't really match the set completely, but I still think it's beautiful. I did the top with like an orange and faded it into the yellow, to try to kind of give that tropical, like orange yellow feel to it. And honestly, the way I'm doing this, where I put the orange at the top and the light yellow at the bottom, and I kind of take a brush and you can kind of see where I'm like tapping it together, where I just put the two colors together and I blend it together in the center. And then I just kind of like thicken up the polar opposites again. Um, and I kind of wish I did this with the petals of the flower later on in the theme set. So as you see how I'm doing this, if you want to make your flowers more detailed, I kind of wish I thought of that when I was doing this set. I didn't think about it until I was done with the set, how pretty it must have been if I did that. So, so yep, I cure it there. I'm hoping that, like, after editing this video, I'm hoping that I'm showing the cure in between each layer. So after I did those colors of the orange and the yellow, I cured it. And I cleaned off my brush with clear top coat, and that's how I get the paint out in between each color, because you don't want to have the orange mixed with the green on the paintbrush. So here I'm doing the vines with a dark green. And there's really no method to it. Basically, what I do is I hold the base of the nail and I pull it. I'm right-handed, so I use the left hand to hold the base of the nail, and then I use the right hand. And as I'm pulling with the left, I drag with the right, um, to try to get the most even lines. And here's me going back through, just thicken it up, thicker, make it thicker than a snicker, because so that's what's going on there. All right, there you go. So you can kind of see where I'm curing it again in between each color. So cleaning the color of the brush now. There we go. So here I'm kind of doing, um, I'm kind of putting in the leaves here. They're like little light green leaves, and you can't really see them at the angle of this camera. You can very slightly, but you'll definitely see them in the end with the photos. You can kind of see it right there a little bit. But it's really pretty. I really am proud of what I did here. Um, so yep, there we go. And then now I'm using a black to kind of add the shadow to it. This wasn't something I really planned on doing, but as I started going through it, I would put it underneath the vine. So I have it kind of going from the light leaves and then the dark green, and then underneath the vine I have the black line to kind of give that shadow effect. And then also on the underside of the leaf, I also put some black lines to kind of give that shadow effect, just to give it some more like texture to the leaf. So that's pretty much it for that one. I'm pretty sure that wraps up that one. Yeah, so here I am going through again, and I'm doing a second coat of the dark green, the olive green. I did this because I don't. You can kind of see very slightly that they're kind of translucent still. So if you do a second coat, then it'll like, it'll make it thicker and it'll give it that more natural salon look when you're wearing the press-ons. Because who wants to wear some translucent ghetto ass nails? So, yeah, it took me about 2.5 hours just to do the one hand here. Um, so it is very time consuming, but I do notice I'm getting faster with my technique with my nails, and also like I noticed that as I was doing the nails, I added more detail than what I anticipated. So this is the thumb. This is the thumb finger, and I am making just a one petal French tip, if that makes sense. But that's how I thought of it in my head, is that I wanted to do like a petal French tip. So the base of the thumb towards the nail bed is the thicker part of the petal, and then so I did the line there. Then as it gets thicker out, I felt more comfortable. Then I used the thicker brush of the nail polish tooth. Yep, and then you kind of put that in the gel cure. You see a lot of cleaning here, and since it's kind of chopped up between different sets, you can kind of see. So here I am going with the second coat, because when you use a dark coat underneath of it, you can definitely see through, and you'll see that in another nail that I'm doing later on, that I'm just clearing up some of the lineage. So, but yeah, you'll definitely see if you ever use a dark color on the bottom and you try to put a light color on top, you are going to have to put on those layers. And I think that I haven't tried to just do like half the nail, and that might be something if you want to save on nail gel polish, to just do like half the nail in the dark color. Then if you know that you're going to use the light color on the other half, that might work if you're trying to save on gel polish. So this is the center of the flower. I don't know the technical word for that. The glory hole of the flower. I don't know. Anyways, so and then right there, I kind of added a shimmery orange that I happened to find in my nail polish collection. And I'm kind of outlining it and putting in detail. And as you see right now, I'm going kind of like down the center of it to try to give like, you know how there's like veins like in flowers for they're kind of like human veins, but they're flower veins. That's what I was thinking of. So that's what I did with the glitter to try to make it more lifelike. And I just happen to have orange glitter, so it kind of turns out nice. You'll see in the end. Um, and then here, I think is where I'm just doing the little details of it. So here, I remember when I was doing this, I put this dark green. Um, I used the dark green for the stems of the flower, and I used it for like the pollen, like the dark detailing of the pollen. But I remember not really liking that so much. So here you see me go back over it with the yellow and try to like fade it out a little bit because the dark green was just, I think it was just too, it just didn't turn out the way I wanted to. So I'm kind of like fading it in with more yellow. And then there you go. So then I put the little yellow dots at the end of the stem to kind of give that like tropical flower. You know how like you get those bouquets and they have like the little things that you're supposed to actually clip off so that they don't fall off and dye your countertops. But anyways, and I think this is the last step for the thumbnail where I just used it to kind of add the outline to it just to give it some texture, I guess is the word, to give it more detail, to make it pop some more. And I did the outside of the flower, then I did the inside of the, oh yeah, then I tried to do the stem like this, but then I realized I didn't really like it, so you'll see me wipe it off. So that right there, you know what I do. So yeah, I kind of wiped it off. That's the good thing about doing these layers like that, because if you don't like something, you could always wipe off the last part that you don't really like. So I'm pretty sure that's the end of that one, yeah. Um, Alright, so this is the second and fourth finger, the pointer finger and the ring finger. Yeah, these two guys. um, that's what I was saying in the beginning of the video, that I made two of these. So in the video, it only shows one being made because it's very time consuming. So I took a dotting tool and I kind of made a cross with it. Like, that's how I'm thinking of it in my head, but basically it was like one dot, and then two dots, and then one dot. So I was trying to do like the diamond kind of flowers. That's how I imagine like tropical flowers kind of being. And I was doing mini flowers, and it kind of reminds me of like the Louis Vuitton. And here I am, I'm just pulling it from the center to try to make the sharp petals. And I did that for all of them. And if you look at like the top and the corners and the sides of the nail, I kind of did like half flowers, or I would just do like a bottom of a flower or side of a flower so it looked like it was kind of like falling off, like the pattern was continuing. But I'm still dragging along the corners of the dots outwards so it kind of makes like the sharper petals. Then you cure it. Oh, I guess I wanted to show you my leaves. There's a little glimpse at that. So bringing out the yellow. Yeah, so this is for the center of the flowers, of the little baby flowers. It's so pretty. There's some detail work. I mean, the little things like this, that little like 5 seconds it took me to do that, and the 5 seconds it takes me to do these like little dark green leaves around the flowers, those little details that you make, it does take longer. So if you're doing an actual like physical nail, you know, it's gonna take a long time. So just tell your clients, you know, that, you know, if that's what their look they want, they gotta, you know, it takes a while because you have to cure in between each one of these sets. So, but it definitely pays off in my opinion in the end. Like, I'm so proud of this nail set. It's one of the best nail sets I've done. So, yeah. So I did these little leaves. If I were to change anything about the dark leaves that I did here, I probably wouldn't put 4 on each one. I would try to like rearrange it so maybe there was only like 3 leaves or 2 leaves on some of them. So not just 4, because it seems like it might just be a little too much. So right here I cured it, and now I'm going through with the orange glitter, and I'm putting some shine, put some shine on the flowers. If you are trying to save time on this set, this is probably the one thing I would tell you to skip, because it is time consuming, and it does add a little shimmer to each one of the flowers, but I wouldn't say it's necessary. Like, if there were, from all the detail work I'm doing with these mini flowers, this is probably the one that was probably the most time consuming with the orange shimmer, and probably not something that is noticeable. I hope that's making sense. Like, if I were to skip a step, it would be this orange shimmer. And it was kind of messy, and the more you put on it, the more you have to, like, kind of clean up. And I have these cute little, like, Q-tip things. They're, like, sharp Q-tips. And it's really good for, like, detail work of just kind of getting in between and, like, wiping away what I don't really want before I cure it. So I'll try to find them on Amazon and try to link them below, but they're lifesavers. I use them all the time. So here, after I cured it, I'm going back in with the black. I always do the black last, for the detail work, for the shadow, the shade. You know, gonna throw some shade. But yeah, I definitely like the way. I think it really pulls the whole nail together, because after I put on that orange shimmer, I was kind of like, what did I do? And this black detail kind of saved the day. So I kind of go over all of it, and I was trying to do like a leaves that you go like real thick in the center and you pull out and down, similar to what I did with the thumbnail, where you go like wide, then you come together like a petal and you make it like a sharp, like a real sharp, aggressive curve to bring out the elegant angles of the flower, the beautiful flowers. So yeah, I think it's in the middle of January, and I was just really feeling like I need a tropical escape. So I was just really feeling this in my mind. This is something that I've been thinking about for like 2 weeks, so I was really happy to make this set. It kind of gave me like a little tropical escape while I was making it. And it was fun to work with my new color wheel to see the colors come together, about which colors go well together, and when it comes to color harmonies. So if you want me to make a video on that, when I found this information online, I think it really has changed my nail game. So yes, if you want me to make a video, let me know, and I will. Here I go again with the top coat that I use to clean my brush. Every time, peoples, every time. You don't want to mix those dark colors with the orange colors. It's going to waste your product. So let's see what I'm doing here. Okay, so this nail, this is another nail that this took me a long time to recover from this, what you see me doing now with these leaves. I basically made this giant X with leaves, because I wanted it to be like a bed of leaves underneath the tropical flower, but as you see, it's a really dark green, and I'm doing it a giant dark green in the middle of the nail. So you'll see in the upcoming minutes of how many layers of the orange of the tropical flower I had to put on top of this to cover up this dark green X that I made. So not only did I waste the product of the dark green gel putting it on the X that's going to be covered up. So I think that if I were to redo this, I would probably like leave the center of this dark green X, like try not to even paint that, because see, I'm trying to cover it up now, and then I think this is where I realize where I made the mistake, because it's just so heavy and you could just see right through it. And it's like my first time doing a tropical flower though, so I think when it's all said and done, I think it turns out great. But I'm kind of like working my way up to the exaggerated flower that I wanted it to be. So you can see how I'm kind of doing like a diamond shape. So underneath it, the leaves are like an X, and then on top, the orange tropical flower that I wanted to do is like a diamond. And so there I cure it to try to get that first layer in, and I think that's where I'm see. See, you can see that dark green underneath it, and I think I'm just realizing like, holy cow! So here I'm like piling on with the brush, like trying to make it thick and just praying to Lord Jesus that I don't have to restart this whole nail. Um, but it works out in the end, so I'm glad it does. So here I am kind of like trying to smooth it out and still kind of make that exaggerated nail, and I'm waiting for the moment that I add a fifth leaf to this. It's going to be on the bottom half because I realized like the diamond shape, it's just too symmetrical. So I think it's like on the bottom left of the finger, like near the tip of the nail, that I add another leaf to it. So you'll hopefully you'll see when I get to it. I'm sorry right now that it's at. I think I was stressing out, so I was pulling the nail closer to me, so it's kind of hard to see in the camera. There we go. So I'm just cleaning it up with my Q-tips. So hopefully, so hopefully it'll work out. Let's see here. All right, so I'm coming in with the glitter, trying to do the outline. It's starting to pull together here. You can kind of see I'm like making the exaggerated leaves. Let's see. A little touch up. I guess this is where I go in with the. I'm wondering. I'm pretty sure I made like a fifth leaf. I don't know where it is. Looks like right now I'm just doing touch up work. Oh, there we go. So you see right there, I'm pulling it down to make that fifth leaf, just so it's kind of like it's not too symmetrical. So there you go. Alright, so yeah, this nail really stressed me out. And I'm sorry if I'm trying to work on to be more conscientious of my camera angles while I'm doing this. So yep, just doing the outline in the dark glitter green. I mean, not green, dark glitter orange. Ah! Alright, here we go. So I'm decided to make the leaves a little thicker. It's starting to come together, so I really wanted to go for like that thick base and then all the way to the thinner tips. So that's where these Q-tips really like kind of save, because then I could really manipulate the gel to what I want. So I think once I get this, here we go, here's the final step. So here's the black, and it really pulls the whole nail together, in my opinion. Like, once I put the black on it and it kind of like brought some shape to it, I was like, thank God. So like the top flower and the top petal of the flower and the bottom flower, I wanted to be like the most prominent leaves. So I did the outlines so that those would be the ones like reaching the center the longest. And then here I did the veins, and that one it looks like I used the black. And I just did it real lightly, so it's like faded shadows. And then, let's see, and then on the center, I did the dark green to outline it. And then I did the dark green to do the stems. And then here on the lastly, I put in the pretty little pollen on the stems. So I feel very proud of how I was able to make that work out. And then here is the final step of putting in the top coat. So I'm kind of go through, I put it in order here, so that's the thumb. And then this is the pointer / ring finger. this is the exciting part because it's just like it's all coming together, all the hard work. Um, yeah, I can't wait until it all comes together. It's so pretty. So I still have some learning to do, some skill building to do on what goes together, but I think for the most part it looks like a pretty cool set. I would totally wear this set. Um, and I'm planning on opening an e-shop, so if you're interested in this set, just find me on Instagram and you can DM me and I can make you a set and we can figure it out if you're interested in it. Right now I'm kind of just building my skill. Ta-da! The beautiful, beautiful nails. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope I did a good job at explaining the nail process. If you have any questions, again, shoot below, and I hope you stick around, subscribe, like, and I'm gonna try to keep making sets, like, let's say, like, once a week. I've been trying to do it on Sundays. Today's a Monday, but anyways, that's not the point. Follow, and I'll try to post pictures when I can. And my Instagram is Fieryrose.nails. And if you stuck around this long, you're a real one.